This exercise 14.21 max to top is telling us to write a method called max to top that takes a stack of integers. So knowing this, we're going to have a public stack void max to top. We take stack integers, we're just going to call it s right here. And we want to move the largest value in the stack to the top of the stack and leave all the other values in its original order. We can also assume that it doesn't contain any duplicates, and then we're given an example of what it would look like right here from beginning to end. So we are going to use a queue as auxiliary storage, and to do this you're going to have queue. We're going to have a type integer in here. Queue is equal to a new linked list. That's what we're going to use to link our queue together. Integer, and then we're just going to close that method right there. So that's pretty much it for the beginning. Now for the logic. We're going to want to pop from our stack. And that way we can get the top, and then this next one, and this next one, and keep going down. Because remember, stacks are going to be first in, last out. And queues are the opposite. So they're going to be first in, first out. Now, let's add these stack values into our queue so that we can go over and look at everything inside of here. We're going to need another variable to hold the max value. I'm going to say int max is equal to. We don't know the smallest value yet. We don't. I mean, what we could do if you really wanted to, the largest value, not the smallest value, you could set it equal to this first one by doing a s.peak, something like this, pretty simple. Or you could set it equal to an integer.min value, and that's going to get the smallest integer value it can. Either works, just two different ways of doing it. Now inside of here, we want to add everything to our queue, but before we add to our queue, we want to see if it's greater than our current max. And if it's greater than our current max, we need a new max value, obviously. So we're going to say while our s dot is not empty, hence the not operator in front, we are going to check if our max is less than our current s dot peak value. We're going to want a new max value. So max is going to be equal to s dot peak. Single line to check it. And then once we finish that, all we need to do is a q.add and then a s.pop. Now inside of our queue, if we close this up, we are going to have this, but in the opposite order. Because remember, this is coming off, and then this one, and then this one, and so on and so forth. So we're going to have like 19, 0, -11, 42, 5, and 27. Now 42 is going to be our max value. We want to put that at the top of our stack. But before we can do that, we have to actually go through our queue and put it into our stack and then do that again. And the reason is because if we move the values of our queue into the stack, well, it's first in, first out, right? So if this is the first in, it's going to be the first out and then the first in our stack. So inside our stack, we're going to have 19, 0, -11, 42, and so on. We don't want that. We want it to be the original order. So to fix this, we are just basically going to run through our queue one time. So while our queue is not empty, we are going to want to push to our stack. So s.push and then q.remove. Now to make this a little bit easier, what we can do now is also remove the max value since we have it stored in here. We don't need to work with it anymore. So what we can do is say if our max value is equal to q.peak, so we're just checking the front value again, then we're going to want to do q.remove. And that's pretty much it. We're just going to remove that value and then go on to the next one. Now after this, we want to add from the stack back in the queue so we can fix our order. We're going to say while our s is not empty, we're just simply going to do a q.add, s.pop, and from there, what we're going to want to do is just push everything back to our stack. So while our queue is not empty, we're going to do s.push, q.remove. Now, once we're done with this, all we need to do is add our max value to the top, s.push, because we're dealing with the stack right now. And then we're just going to do our max value. Close the method, submit, and we got an error. Our error is right here. We're trying to assign. We want to check if it's equals. For some reason, we have an extra parenthesis right there. So we can get rid of that, run it, pass the test, and that's pretty much it. That's going to be this practice it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you want more practice it, they're in the playlist link below the like button.